So at the end of 2021, home prices were up about 18.8% year over year. That's very good. The housing experts were also predicting that we would see double-digit growth in 2022. Now again, both these numbers are great if you currently own real estate, but these are not good if you're wanting to buy something very soon. And this is the problem. Home buyers are actually running out of money. They're simply running out of money, and this is what many experts are saying could potentially cause the start of this housing bubble to burst. Now, here's what you need to understand. If you thought it was troubling to buy a house in 2021, well, you were wrong. Buying a house in 2021, according to multiple experts, says they're saying that this was a great investment because prices continued to go up. So, here's something that you need to really understand though. If you thought it was somewhat scary to see 18.8% year over year growth, well, let's factor that in with wage growth, because this is one of the reasons why multiple experts are saying that this is why home buyers are running out of money, because their wage growth has not been aligned with the growth of real estate prices. Now, let's look at this. And I want to point this out because historically, wages in real estate and the real estate prices have been aligned. However, this is not what we're seeing, and this is not what has happened over the past few years. Because while home prices have grown by 18.8% in 2021, this was year over year, nominal wages only grew by 4.5%. We are seeing inflation at 7.9% currently. This is a huge issue, because if we are going to see wages grow by a quarter of what real estate prices grow, well, you're not going to be able to afford a house. People that are just getting in are not going to be able to afford it. So, even if there wasn't a housing shortage, you would still be feeling the effects of real estate outpacing wages by about 14.3%. And for most people, that is a number that they just can't overcome. But let's look at another side of real estate, because those that currently do have a home, okay, and this is the other side, many people are opting to fix up their homes before they actually list them on the market. And why is that? They do this in order to get the most bang for their buck, right? To go and renovate their house. Maybe it costs them, an extra $25,000, but at the same time, they can get an extra $40,000 back. Well, that's great. You put in $25,000, get $15,000 back on top of that, top of your investment. That's a no-brainer. But here's where the problems lie. Many homeowners or sellers are actually struggling to fix up their homes due to the lack of funding, because they are paying for overpriced lumber. They're paying for contractors who are asking an arm and a leg, but obviously they're worth it because they are doing the work. And a lot of this is partially to blame because of overall inflation at 7.9%, rising food prices, gas prices going through the roof, and obviously building materials. All these things play a factor. And this is just one of the problems, but what many people don't fully think about when buying a home. And again, I want to touch on the two different sides. You got the home buyer, first-time home buyer, never has had any real estate. You got them on one side. Then you got the current home owner, who's also considered a home buyer, because as soon as they sell their house, they're going to go and buy something else. Well, here's the problem. Right now, what many people don't fully think about is when you buy a home, you got to think about the mortgage rates. You got to think about closing costs. You also got to think about initial repairs. Now, most people are only worried about the price. That is it. Okay, I can spend $500,000. I'm going to buy that house. Great, but what you could afford at 3%, you might not be able to afford at 5%. That's an issue. But the truth is that when mortgage rates go up, like we've seen recently, they're up over 5%. And this is on a 30-year fixed rate mortgage. the amount of home that people can afford goes down. Well, then you factor in something like the lack of inventory on the market, which if we have lower inventory, guess what? Prices go up. Then you factor in the amount of price drops that we have seen in recent weeks. Well, we've seen more price drops recently, but the problem is the prices were still very high to begin with. So even though there's price drops and people think, oh, price is dropping, that's great, we need to make an offer. No, that's not what's happening. What is happening in many different situations across the country, many different locations, is we are actually seeing the prices drop just a little bit, but home buyers aren't rushing in to get that property. Why? Because guess what? They're waiting for the price to drop even further, and even further, and even further. So what we are seeing right now is home buyers, they're running out of money, which means they can't afford what they used to, which also means they're waiting for the best opportunity to buy. And this could mean that they're waiting months or maybe a year, and we don't know. Now, if home buyers don't have the necessary funding to purchase a home right now, then here's what this means. This will mean that prices must come back down, right? If everybody's waiting for the exact right moment to buy, then expect that there will be more homes that sit on the market for a little bit longer. There'll be more price drops that will happen, and eventually we could see the housing bubble burst. That's what experts are telling us. But remember this, as the prices begin to fall, they will fall. They will only drop in certain locations, okay? Right now, what we are seeing is that over on the West Coast, that's where the majority of new listings are coming in, which as we see new listings and we see more inventory, prices are going to drop. As rates are going up, prices will drop even further. And what we could see again is on the West Coast, we could see the housing market somewhat burst. But you need to be prepared no matter where you live. You need to be prepared because we could see home prices fall very quickly. And if they do, and if you're looking into buying, that's going to be the time to buy. We don't know. We could see home prices really dip for a month, 2 months, 6 months, maybe 12 or 18 months. We don't know how long, but you need to be prepared. So here's what many experts are telling us right now. If you are wanting to buy a home, first off, make sure your credit is good. Do not screw up your credit. Don't go and buy a new vehicle. Don't go and miss a payment, right? Don't screw anything up. Make sure your credit is good. The second thing, have money set aside for closing costs, for a down payment, okay, for initial repairs. Make sure you have the money set aside. If you don't, maybe now is not the time to be looking for a home. And the third thing that experts are saying is to be patient. We do not know how long this could potentially go. We don't know if we will see a major dip. We don't know if we'll see a crash like we saw in 2008, 2009. I personally don't expect something like that, but it could happen. So make sure you are being patient, you're doing your due diligence, and make sure you are prepared. That's what we're hearing at this time. So as always, if you are running out of money, it's not because of you directly, it is because of the market. Okay, keep that in mind. Stick to your current path. Okay, don't deviate, don't change things up. Just do what you've been doing, because I guarantee you at some point things are going to turn around and it will be the right time to buy. But when that is, honestly, I don't know. So as always, I'll be here every step of the way. If you have any questions whatsoever, please ask your questions down in the comment section below. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.